That's perfect. Awesome. So this is our very first episode. Black
It
Around the
is our
World.
first episode. Black around the world. How did it go?
We got to sing. Well, one day we'll get the song actually made. How about that?
Yeah, we'll get it made. But imagine a cool intro song giving you Black Around the World vibes, everybody. Welcome to our first episode.
Cool intro here.
Yes, welcome to our first episode. So we're just here, trying things out. I know that we really just want to give everybody an idea of why we're here, who we are, and what to look forward to. Anything else that you want to add to it?
Yeah, I mean, everything you just said, and just making sure that we have fun while we're doing it. That's why I'm here.
Definitely have to remember that. Fun while we're doing it. I mean, yeah. I like to have fun, but then when I know that people are like listening and watching, I'm like, forget to have fun. So
yeah, and I think the topics that we might touch up on, like throughout the duration of this whole child thing that we just birthed, there might be some topics that we got to make sure that we don't get too heavy. Try to keep
I can't wait to get into this child thing that we birthed. But I do want to talk about how we are just, technically strange friends, as you coined it on one of our planning sessions, and get into how we know each other. One, I'm Raynell. I am from, where am I from? I'm from all over, but I guess I'm from Tulsa. I spent most of my adult life, childhood there. Well, most of my childhood there. And I'm currently in Ghana. I am a community curator, yoga teacher, lover of Black people, lover of Black spaces, lover of Black healing, lover of creating liberation spaces, facilitating liberation spaces, all those things. So that's a little bit about me, and you'll learn more as we go on. What about you?
I'm Queen. Most may know me from the Greenwood Gallery. I own a Black art gallery in the state of Oklahoma. I have since transitioned into more of a global aspect with working with artists, but I'm a mom. I'm originally from Grand Prairie, Texas, which those of you who know, it's the DFW area. But I'm an artist as well. I'm a creative, most and foremost. So I think working with Ray and connecting with Ray. Oh, fun fact, we're both Sagittarius, which is why I think this kind of just happened organically anyway, because we were just like, we have a lot to talk about, and we think the same a lot, and then think differently on a lot of things.
We do think differently. We do have a lot in common. We do have a lot that's not in common, but I think we also have a lot that we want to put out into the world that we see some commonalities in. I know that how did we come about? Because like we weren't like really kicking it in Tulsa like that. We lived in the same city, and I saw you every blue moon.
So, no, how about this? This just hit me. We met on Halloween night. You remember?
I didn't even think about that. Hey, look, bro, look at us shooting right on the Halloween.
Yes, like this is our anniversary.
I didn't even think about the date. This is our meeting anniversary. I was thinking about. I didn't make the connection, but I was just thinking about when was the first time I met Queen, and it was at a party, a Halloween party, 2020.
Yes, 2020.
Technically be inside with people we didn't know. We were supposed to be in our bubble, but we met in 2020, a controversial year to have parties.
That part.
I was a Black Panther.
You sure? I don't even remember what I promise you. I was probably a referee again. I don't know. I don't even remember.
I remember you being in a jumpsuit. You were in a red jumpsuit. Were you in Incredible? Were you like?
Okay, yeah, Mrs. Incredible. You're right. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Look at you. That's good. Yeah. And I remember my son, he was Jake from State Farm that year. So that that's like all I can remember. But yeah, so we met in Tulsa on Halloween night 2 years ago. So this is basically our friendiversary.
Yes, it is our friendiversary. And I think that, like I said, we really saw each other. I just remember after that seeing you when you started running the gallery. So I don't know what the gap is between when you started running the gallery and when we met each other. But I do know that I just wanted to support you when you started running the gallery. I was like, I know I don't know Queen much, but I wish there was a way I could support her. And I don't think I necessarily did that, but when I came in, I was trying to give you those supportive vibes.
Yeah.
I do remember moving some chairs around one time for you, but but I just know that I really wanted this Black woman to be successful running this gallery, and I'm just super proud of what you were able to accomplish with that gallery. It was such a big deal, and a blessing to the community. So I say thank you for giving that to Tulsa.
Man, thank you, Tulsa, for accepting it. It was fun. It was how I built community, which is basically how we bonded. Because I mean, you're all community driven, and so am I. I think that's one reason why I even moved to Tulsa in the first place, was looking for this tribe, And at one point, I did have it, I guess. So I thought I had it, but as far as the art community was concerned. But yeah, no doubt. Like I definitely felt the support from you for sure.
Cool.
Yeah, but we only really met like how many times throughout that? That's why I think I said friend strangers, because like we had always connected and linked on Instagram, but face to face, it had to been 4 times at the most.
Right.
5.
And
I don't
right.
remember.
People can't sleep on social media, even though people like want to, talk about the negative impact of social media, but it did bring us together. I think Instagram and just like sharing our lives and like supporting each other through social media, and that's kind of how we reconnected and actually started, talking. And so we got on a call, right? Wasn't it? We got on a call.
Yeah. What was the call about? No, it was head wraps. I think he was asking about head wraps, right?
No, it was about Ghana.
Okay.
Because you would comment about, because I'm in Ghana, I think I said that I'm in Accra, and you were just very interested in like, potentially coming there, which you will be.
Oh, for your retreat. Yes.
Yes.
I think you were trying to fill people out and whatnot. And I was like answering all the survey questions.
Yeah. I was doing just some research really about the community that I would like to create and what people ideas and thoughts around community, and you were just very good at supporting me and answering those questions and giving me the market research that I was looking for. And then I said I also but you will always talk to me about Ghana outside of that. And then I said, how about potentially considering coming in November, which I have a small women's retreat, and we got on the phone and talked about that. The conversation took off on all these like ideas of stuff we wanted to do together, which is something else. I was like, it was initially about you coming here, but then we were like, let's start this business together. And then we were talking, and then probably like most people was like, this should be a podcast, this should be recorded. But I just remember distinctly asking you want to start a podcast? And you were like, yes.
Yes. Yes. It was like you proposed to me at that moment. I'm like, absolutely.
Yeah. And so that was the initial conversation, and we just, I think, are both very, we follow through. I think what I appreciate about you is you remind me of myself, and we follow through. We don't just talk. It's like, we're going to say we're going to do something, we're going to go do it. And so I just, those are the vibes I want to continue building with you. It's just like continuing to let our yes be yes, our no be no, and continue to follow through, which to me is an important aspect of building community, is following through. Which I really want to talk about aspects of community, which we'll get into what we want to talk about in future conversations. But then the name came about. So we, in planning the process, we were, trying to figure out names. We had a lot of names. What names do we have?
Bro, I remember
you
one.
Came with the names. You came with the ideas. You came with some good ideas, man. I can't even remember what those. I probably have it right here. But
shout out to the medical situations. I was very creative. I was in my bag that night.
Oh, look, here's some. You said you had the Garden Club, Work Friends, Ambitiously Black, Out of Order, Hold My Crown. Some of the finalists was Welcome Black, which we were like, we're still gonna work that in, Openly Black, Black Sage, Black Future.
Look, we can't give them all away because we might still use some of them.
We might, in some way or another, we're gonna use them. I mean,
Yeah, but I was that night. I was like, I'm just spitting them out. But I think you ended up ultimately coming up with the name.
Yeah. Well, what happened was I mentioned Black Around the World, and I was like, "Ooh, that'd be nice," because we had actually finalized one of your names, and we changed the subject, and I was like, "Even Black Around the World sounds nice." And then it wasn't until I started explaining like what I meant, and really for me, Black Around the World was just inspired about being here in Ghana and learning that Black around the world, being Black looks different around the world, and the experience looks different. Obviously, here in Ghana, the experience looks differently. Obviously, in Tulsa, maybe in New York, in Germany, and so we were just talking about, and I know in building community here in Ghana and talking to people here and just having a conversation about do we really have a good grasp of what it means to be Black around the world, Black in this world, while it's different, I think there's a lot of commonalities because there is a collective experience.
Absolutely.
And so, that's where the name, and then you were like, now that you explained that, yes, absolutely, that is the name of the podcast.
I mean, and then let's be real, we're both Black. I'm in Dallas, Texas. You're all the way in Ghana. Like, we are literally around the world right now, still having the same collective thought, or at least just having a conversation. So,
right, definitely.
It was perfect.
Right. So that's how the podcast came about. That's how the name came about. What are your, I would like for us to talk about like our individual desires. I hope I don't sound like I'm like conducting a meeting, I've always wanted to do a podcast. So I hope I'm a good podcaster.
No, I think it's flowing. I think my individual goal, though, as far as the podcast is concerned, is the same as for the community. I just want to see growth. I want to see something flourishing, because once you put time into something and you have like good intentions, it's like it should create something. And so with our whole idea of what community could look like, or what it should look like, or just sitting down with people that are making a difference, I want to be able to capture those interviews and inspire the Black diaspora. Let's be real, like I shout out to everybody, but my main focus is my community right now. I mean, let's be real, I'm 32 years old, so I'm being privy to a lot more information that I wasn't privy to in the beginning. And I'm realizing a lot of it is on us as a collective. Obviously it starts with the self-work, which, a lot of the goal of the podcast, I want to be able to kind of put a mirror in front of people and ourselves. Like when we sit down with these people, I want them to teach us things that we can actually implement in our lives. And then it trickles onto our children and the next generation. So that's the goal, is just growth, a good, positive, situation.
Yes, I definitely want it. Yeah. So definitely want to agree with you, like letting it be really a learning platform. Yes, learning platform for us, but learning platform for all. I know we want to get into a disclaimer, which we'll kind of discuss around like our interaction with the audience, but I really kind of want to start my answer that with talking about what Black Around the World is. Black Around the World is a podcast devoted to having the conversations that heal, liberate, connect, and build community amongst Black people globally, while reaching back and seeking inspiration from the creativity and greatness of our ancestors. And so for me, that speaks to, I want these to be healing conversations, a communal podcast where Queen and I'm trying to find the lighting. Tell me if I'm like, it's too dark. Can you see my silhouette? But
I think it's a good balance, because you're giving me beach vibes. Like I'm getting vacation / at home chilling. So I like the combo.
Okay. I know with this side bun, I was gonna try to do something. I'll try to look better for y'all, but it's been a
I
day.
mean, hey, at this
Um,
point, they're gonna take us as we are because
as we
they almost
are.
got me in the same Halloween costume from last night. I was like, let me
So, so we want to engage listeners, really meaning like if we're talking, if we're exploring ideas, because that's what we'll be doing, we'll be exploring ideas. And if we say something that you, the listener, have input in, maybe you want to challenge our thought process in a way, we want to hear from y'all. So we'll drop our emails. We'll also have our Instagram up. So I want this, anything we put out, whether it's a podcast, our social media spaces, I really want it to be a communal effort. I really want it to be healing. And for me, as you can see on our Instagram, what's our Instagram? Black Around the World.
Black Around the World _.
Yeah, just Black Around the World _ Find us on Instagram. Please follow us. We would love to hear from you. Connect with you there. But one of the things that was shared on there was just my belief in developing a liberatory consciousness in our community. And for me, not for me, that means, so for Barbara K. Love, who coined the term, it means to, let me not get it. Let me make sure I get it right. Enables humans to live outside the patterns of thoughts and behaviors they have internalized that help perpetuate oppressive systems. And so for me, it's just like, how can we be free? In which a lot of toxic behaviors and traumas that we've undergone as a people really stems from
learned behavior.
Learned behavior, and a lot of it really stems from a lot of oppressive systems at the heart of it. And so while there is the undoing of these structures, these systems, these thought process that we just been handed, we have to continue to unlearn, and as you pointed out, relearn. But it's obviously, how does that trickle down into how we see ourselves, how we see each other, how we build community? That's really important to me. That's the most important to me about this, like, liberatory consciousness. It's like, how does that show up in how we build community? Because at the end of the day, it's like, it's us, and it's going to be us, and it's really us who's going to liberate us. So looking to,
and it's like, I mean, and I'm not naive to the fact that it's not an overnight situation, because everybody has a different perspective on things. Like you said, it's learned and behavior, but some things that we're learning, we're now just painting it as culture. And so and when we do that, I don't think we're really taking accountability for, like you said, things we are coming up with is because we've been in this oppressed system for so long. So it's actually not acknowledging what is toxic and not just culture. What are we doing, or what are we not doing as a people for us to continue to be where we're at? So a lot of it is going to be conversations of just like minds of like, okay, do you think this is what we should be doing in our culture, or what we shouldn't be doing, or do we need this in moderation? So yeah, definitely not naive to that. It's going to take a hot minute to see one thought, really.
Yeah, and I saw a video the other day. Trevor Noah was speaking, and he was talking about the idea of accountability. Someone asked him, "Why do you have beef with such and such person?" And he was like, "I don't have beef. For me, it's about how can I hold them accountable." But he was speaking from a place of love, though. He didn't, because like, I don't want us to be hold people accountable in a way that, in a toxic way that, like a Bill Cosby way. Like, I don't want to like be like beating down on Black people more in what we're saying, but like, how is it? For me, it's like, how can we do this from a place of love? For me, it's also a value of mine, and a value of this podcast is like, how can we operate from a place of love? Because the collective love, as a good friend of mine, Ebony, once said, I'm butchering it, but she said the collective love is powerful. It's like, it's something that you can't combat when we are collectively loving each other.
Oh, that's the thread. Unity, love. Like, if we're all in one accord, then we can't really necessarily be controlled. And that's kind of how the system is ran.
Yeah, true. So like future topics, I don't know what you want to share about future topics you want to discuss and potential guests that you want to discuss. Like, let's put it out there in the universe. Like maybe they're listening and they'll be like, you know what, I'll be a good person to talk to about that. So
Okay,
what's
so
the future topic?
if we're doing universe manifesting, I definitely
Okay.
want an Issa Rae type conversation. We're gonna go from like wish for the stars situation. So yeah, definitely an Issa Rae, but on a more like accessible level, I want
Oh, you're
people.
saying actually have Issa Rae on the podcast?
Yeah. What do you mean? Yes,
You
on the
gotta
podcast.
put it out there. Oh my gosh, put it out there. It like you put it out there, and I believe it's gonna happen. If you
Oh,
believe
come
it's
on.
gonna happen, I
Yes.
believe it's gonna happen. I thought you were like an Issa Rae theme conversation. You're like, I want Issa Rae on.
No. We want Issa Rae. We are flying to wherever it is, and we're sitting down with Issa Rae. I can see it now. Like we have the flowers on the coffee table. It's a whole conversation.
Issa, if you're listening.
Yeah, just in case. But no, so obviously Issa, but when it comes to the conversations, obviously relationships in our community, what may or may not be toxic. And I can't go any further without saying rest in peace, Takeoff. That hit me this morning. I'm not even gonna lie. And the fact that not only was his influence so huge that it affected me, but it affected my 9-year-old son. Like he was bad. So it just shows like we do need to have conversations around music and how influential it is and where it may or may not be taking us as a culture. But yeah, those kind of conversations, relationships, what community looks like, self-healing, you're a yogi. So I want to really get more into, because, there's always, especially Black folks, growing up in the church and whatnot, a lot of things was deemed like just not okay. And so when you find out like yoga and the poses and the guides, and you start hearing about all these things, you're like, okay, what is this? So, if you're that deep into it, I would love to talk about stuff like that, because I do know each yoga pose has its own energy and its own whatnot. So yeah, everything that inspires you inspires us as a people. Art, as an artist and an art gallery owner, I always want to talk about the exposure Black artists are needing and the opportunities. So if anybody may be listening to our podcast at some point, if they know events and just any opportunities for Black artists, I would love for our podcast to be like the hey, I need to hit these people up because I know they know how to connect the dots. So the village at Greenwood Leadership. Okay, look. Okay, Leadership Academy. I'll read your shirt.
It's a program that I built when I was working at my last job in Tulsa, and it was a mentor program, and it was about like the idea basically was around being a village around our students, and we're I'm trying to remember, but it was just like it was the idea that we all have a responsibility to be pouring into our students. It's a communal effort to raise them.
See, this is in your blood, and for anybody who I just threw off, I'm sorry, I had a squirrel moment. I know you got to remember this is a podcast, so I just seen Ray's T-shirt and I was reading it while I was in the conversation. But
I know. I was like, I got my village shirt on. I was like, I should probably put something nice on for the people. But
so, question.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So, I mean, I know I don't really remember how long we said we are going to be doing these things, but I'm ready to go as long as you want to. But I also want to do the 5 questions. I've been talking about this for obviously since I hit you up about it, but I think it not only helps me get to know you, but you, me, and our audience gets to know kind of where our minds are.
To it. I feel like these questions, you have your excitement, enthusiasm behind them. I'm a little nervous, but we can go back and forth. You won, my one. So I'm gonna let you go first, since
Okay, yeah, we can go back and forth. I like that. I'll just ask one and then you can ask another. So I'm gonna pull them up right now on my phone. But what I do know is I remember one of them. If you can go back and ask your younger self or give your younger self any advice, what would it be? So if you not really ask your younger self a question, but if you could give your younger self any advice, what would it be?
That is a great question. I'm gonna just off the dome, off the dome. Um, so when I think about my younger self, yeah, like I've always been me. And so me has been always been me. When I say me, I'm like I've been black as I've been black as hell since I was like a kid, like lover of all things black people, a lover of like affirming myself and what I watch, affirming myself and what I indulged in. And so even that showed up to me for me as a kid was like always looking for representation. And so like my sister and brother would always want to be like watching cartoons, which I mean, shout out to cartoons, but they were never really my thing. Um, but because for me, I wanted to see what are black people like. I want some representation. I want to see myself. I want to see so like put on different world. You know what
Yeah,
I'm saying? Can we
black
do
suits
that?
first. I love
You know
it.
what I'm saying? And even, I wanted to watch the Cosby's. I wanted to see us. And so I guess I'm saying that to say what I would tell my younger self, because I was gonna link that, but I don't know how I'm gonna link it. But basically, like that representation that I was looking at and really pulling from those characters, those strong people, those positive people. I want to say continue, like letting that be what I build on. I think a lot of things that I got tripped up on was like what people think of me. And so
Hmm.
I think that really I would say just like affirming myself based on the strength that I was looking for, the representation that I was looking for, and in my community, in what I watched, and really letting that be something that I pulled from um, to build me up in situations that would like tear me down. If that makes sense.
Hmm.
So I don't. That's not really saying what I would have told myself, but it would have been just basically to build off of what all the things that I was seeking, all the strength that I was looking for. Because at the end of the day, it really was, I wanted to see myself and I wanted to affirm myself. And
Yeah.
so I think that it would have been just like continuing to pull it from that strength. That's kind of my roundabout.
No, I love that. I love that. It's within.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
within. I
Mhm.
feel that.
So I have a question for you. Speaking of rappers, who's your favorite rapper and why?
Ooh. Okay, let's see. It changes. I'm not gonna lie to you, it changes often, but the one that I've said the most would have to be Chance. I really love Chance the rapper. Wale. Ooh, out of them two, Wale and Chance. And why? First, I'm really big on being able to understand you.
Mhm.
People have dope beats and whatnot, but if I don't understand you, if I don't understand your metaphors, if it just flies over my head, or if you're not saying anything, it takes me a while to gravitate towards your music. But with Chance and Wale, I can understand the vibe. I can understand where they're coming from, where they're going. They're handsome, obviously. Um, I don't know. And then Wale, I love how emotional he is. It's intriguing to me.
Yeah.
Kind of same with Chance. I've been there, since acid rap. So I love the whole transition. And he's still been super consistent when it comes to just his whole aura. So those, yeah.
Yes,
Those are the
yes,
top two.
Chance.
They should be the top two lists. Or top
Chance,
one.
Chance is coming to Ghana. You should come when Chance comes to Ghana. He always comes to Ghana. As I've shared with you, I've met Chance the Rapper in Ghana. Like, let me tell you something. I
Come
know
on
this is
now.
how I know. Like, Ghana, people who come to Ghana like are all my people I love. Like, it makes sense that I'm here. Like, Chance come here, I love. Jadena come here, I love. Gabrielle Union is here right now, I love. Who else came here recently? But no, so Chance always comes here and he's planning a big concert in January. If anybody who's listening, y'all should come. I'm sure it's gonna be dope. Um, but he always comes here and I always be like, bro, I just want to be someplace that he's at one day. And one day it was like Fake Friday, that prime moment, which if you ever come to Ghana, it's a vibe. Thursday night. It's like the first Thursday, second to last Thursday or something like that. So they have good DJ sets. And me and a friend and two friends were chilling inside the restaurant, and talking to my friend, and Chance walks in like a regular person, and like, you know, does the, I think he like, you know, did this to my friend, and then I was just like, turned to my
I would
friend,
have
and I was,
died, bro. I would have died. I ain't gonna lie.
I
I
just
would have.
turned to, I was just turned to my friend, and I was like, I cannot, like, this is not what I had planned. I didn't plan Chance the Rapper. I know I said I wanted to, but I would like to plan to see Chance the Rapper so I can like brace myself. But I was cool. I was glad I played it cool. I think everybody was cool. Like, he walked in and he was regular. Like I said, they sat and they ate. He is who he is. He I did make my way over there to speak to him. Most people, like I said, they were letting him be him, and I think that's why he, oh shit. I gave him away where he hangs out. Oh, anyway, sorry. I'm
That's
sorry.
right. I'm
Well,
like,
it's like we have a million listeners. But anyways,
hey,
like
we might.
you know, so he was like, I did talk to him. I told him that I appreciated him, and he's like, you know, he's like, have I met you? And I nervously laughed because I was like, Chance, you never met me. But I see why he asked that, because he, like I said, he comes to a pride. He talks to meet people all the time.
Yeah.
And I said, no. And I was like, I appreciate you. He was like, I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you. And then, you know, I walked away. And then I really wanted a picture, but I didn't want to be that person. But
Yeah.
thank God the photographer at the party was just like, hey, let's go get a picture with Chance. I think he knew, he saw my reaction from across the room. So he like wanted to alley me or whatever, help me. So I took I have the picture on my phone. I'm gonna have to post it. But yeah, and we took a
You have
picture.
to.
Made my day. Like, I saw him like video chatting with his daughter, and I'm just like, you're a girl dad. You over here in Ghana making sure you have time at this party to talk to your daughter. Love. Anyways, I didn't get to go over that. Next
No,
year.
you're good. We can always talk about Chance all day.
Right.
All day. Okay, so I guess my question number 2 is, would you marry a white man? Come on. Would you? I'm just curious.
Let me tell you something. I have dated a white guy before.
Okay. Interesting.
It was actually the longest relationship that I had, you know.
What?
Yeah, and we're not gonna get into how long my relationships have lasted, because that's another conversation for another day. And this I think this whole thing is another conversation for another day, but I will answer the question. Here's what I feel. I have mixed feelings. Not when it comes to Black women being loved. I don't have any mixed feelings about Black women being loved well. Like, for me, I guess I'm gonna say double standard, and I'm gonna leave whatever the double standard to y'all. We can talk about another day. But when it comes to Black women being loved, that is something that is very important to me. If we've been loved well, you know, if there's somebody who's showing up for you, who's been consistent, who's, you know, being truthful, being honest, making you feel like the queen that you are, and he happens to be white. And I guess the question is for me. I love Black people, and I really would like to, you know, have Black love is really important to me, and a big aspect of building communal spaces for Black people, and just like the benefits of when Black people are loving each other, and like how that impacts their families, and how we're just better together. And so I like, ideally, obviously, Black love is my thing. But I'm gonna say yes. If he was there, if he understood me through and through, like, for me, I need to be loved through and through. If he can love me through and through as a Black woman and understand. And also, I'm not like explaining basic stuff to him. He has to be like have a level of consciousness, a level of awareness. He has to also have, like, obviously address his privilege, address, you know, his idea of whiteness and relationship with whiteness. He has to have done all that. But I'm saying, like, you know, like, if this person exists, like, I have to say, because like I'm in my 35 years of living, I know that love and connection is few and far between. If I get that love and connection from a white guy,
Okay, I feel that. Fun fact, I literally just found out how old you were just now when you said that.
Yeah. Did you? How old did you think I was?
I figured we were probably around the same age.
Yeah.
32.
Yeah. You say you're 33 though?
32.
32. But it's my birthday month. So
Yes.
I'm turning 36. And it'll be a year that I've been in Ghana later on this month. And I definitely manifested this podcast. But yeah. My next question
Okay.
is, what is your favorite childhood memory?
Favorite child. So I feel like I had a great childhood, but I think the one thing that stands out the most, and it's weird because it makes me who I am today. My father's side of the family is from Tulsa, Oklahoma. So I spent a lot of summers. I mean, it was like at that point, and which wasn't that long ago, it just kind of shows how fast Tulsa has changed again. But at that point, it was like straight Black excellence, and we would go to all these Black stores, Gibbs, all these different Black stores. And so my family was there. It was the Blackest, because being from Grand Prairie is more Hispanic. So it was the I can't say it, Blackest experience I have ever gotten. So going to Tulsa during the summers and whatnot, those were very memorable moments. Because my family's super country. So we're riding horses, going fishing, doing the country life, while also just being Black as hell and loving it. So Tulsa was a great experience for me, which is one reason why I think I moved there a couple years.
Awesome, love it, love it.
Yeah. Shout out
That's
to Tulsa.
beautiful. I forgot that you experienced that Tulsa.
Yeah, that was like why I was like, I'm gonna grow up and I'm gonna move to Tulsa.
You used to say that.
Oh, dude, when I was married, like we had even talked about it, because I told him, I'm like, look, this is something I've always wanted to do, and he was down with it. So we were going to move as a family. And then obviously I got a divorce. I was like, well, I'm still going. Yeah. But okay, so that was okay. My next question. Oh, yes, I love this one. So if it was between Candace Owens and Kanye for president, who would you choose?
I still think of that office being a joke. I was about to say, I'm like, this office is a joke. But I don't
She's
know.
Like, I'm not voting. I'm just not voting.
Yeah, I know. That's a tough one. I know, right?
Is it?
I mean, that literally is what it is these days. Are like two people you don't really support. I heard it was what's his name? Trevor Noah. That video was actually somebody asking him, "Was your beef with
yeah, it was Ye. I remember. I seen that. Yep, I seen that.
Okay, like I'm glad you saw that video. I really wanted to know what you thought about it, because like that's the kind of content I want to be sharing, like resharing with the world, because that really is for me, my heart behind community is like, it ain't it ain't nothing about beef, but it's just like I care about this person.
Yeah.
So
you said they chose a president, bro.
It hurts to answer this question.
I feel like you know the right choice.
Do I? You want me to say Candace Owens?
No, that's not what I wanted you to say.
Oh, only because I feel like
I've been growing. Okay,
she'll be mentally prepared to run the office. I mean, I think that even though 90% of what her viewpoint, I don't even know if there's any 10% that I agree with. I really don't. I've never heard anything that I agree with, but I just feel like she's if we thinking about like the structures in America, I think she understands history, she understands government, and so that's why I say her. I think that I just don't see, as far if we're thinking about experience, if we're thinking about I think potentially Candace Owens would be the person for the job, but obviously you don't have to have experience to be in that office.
Not anymore.
So anyways, yeah, that's my answer.
So
Right.
Candace is your
Mhm.
answer. Okay. I bet. That was when I was like, oh my God, I can't wait to ask her that one.
I can't believe you made me answer that. Anyways, okay. So my question is, who's your favorite person in history?
Oh, Harriet Tubman all day. I love Harriet Tubman. That is my spirit animal. My son is like, she's not an animal, but you know what I mean. Like, I just love everything about her, everything she stood for. She's also my alter ego.
What's
But
your tell? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
what are you about to
What
say?
is it? Tell me something specific, very specific about the spirit in which who she was and how she was moving that really speaks to you.
I loved how, like, when you hear about her story, it seems very masculine. And I'm being real. Like, that's something that you would hear a man doing when it comes
Mhm.
to freeing all these people and just being super aggressive about it.
Mhm.
And so I love the fact that, I mean, I don't know her sexual orientation, like that was all her stuff. But when it just comes to knowing this was a woman and she was super aggressive about what she wanted, and she's very underrated when it comes to just history in general, to me personally.
Yeah,
But yeah, Harriet Tubman for sure.
I love that. You know, um, a lot of Black women have had to really move in their masculine to get the job done, and really lean into their masculine. I know that there's a woman in history here. I mean, there's obviously a lot of women in history. There's a woman specifically in Ghana, and I may say her name right, but I know it's like Asantewaa, and she had to fight for her people against um, white supremacy, and I could share a little more. I'm sorry, Donna, if I'm not describing her and honoring her well. But when I think of the spirit of Harriet Tubman, I feel like Donna has that in her,
Yeah,
and freeing and fighting for her people.
I love that. I really do. I don't know, I just feel like you got to get you a woman that can do both, and she definitely did both.
Yeah, we didn't have to do it, like
Yeah. Okay, so okay, my next question. If you could come up with, I think I shared this with you one point, but anyway, if you could come up with one law for the Black diaspora, what would it be? Like one law that we are all governed under, whether it benefited us or whatever, just one law.
a law. Could is a law like just an agreement on the way that we move?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
One code. One code.
code. A code is do everything from a place of love. Is that a
Mm.
good quote? Is that a good one? Is
You
that a
know what?
law? Can that be a law?
I think it's not a bad one, but I think it needs explanation.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like basically the law is, and I'm sure that there'll be an appendix or and some footnotes and stuff like that to explain, but it's do everything in place of love. And so um lots of laws that tell us not to cheat, tell us not to kill, and tell us all these things. But if we have this guiding thing that says do everything from a place of love, we're not gonna cheat. I mean, love doesn't look like lying. Love doesn't look like killing.
Mm.
Love doesn't look like um, throwing somebody under the bus or not showing up for someone. And so, but for me, that would mean just like letting all your actions and how you move about in the world and in your community, letting that guide you. So it's a hopeful law, but it's just like it's an agreement that
I feel it.
even in anger, even in upsetness, like we gotta cool down and figure out how am I gonna go about this? It's from a place of love. I may be living in a fairy tale land, but
I love it. So Ray's law is follow the 10 commandments. That's what I got from that.
this is not
Thou,
why.
thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal.
All I'm saying is when you think of laws, you think of stuff like that. But if you're doing from places like outside of basic things like killing and stealing or whatever, like you're not gonna sell nobody out if you love them, right? You're not going to, you know, you're not going to do what's best for yourself if it harms your community. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna just get your piece of the pie if your community doesn't feel loved based on your actions.
Okay.
You know, I just want to go a little. You're not gonna sum my stuff up to you know, because all I said was laws like kill and da 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 da, don't kill. Like those are laws, but obviously we love, you wouldn't be doing this. But let's go a little bit deeper on how love could show up as a law. Love could show up as a law. Okay, you feel me?
Not leading with self first.
Yeah.
Sure. No,
yeah.
I get that. I'm messing with you. I love it. Okay, you have a question for me?
Okay, so I only had 3, but I'm gonna take your question. Would you marry a white man?
So I'm gonna be honest. I'm not sure I'm that healed yet. Okay. I think I loved your answer as to why you would, and I totally rock with that answer. I just gotta really also be like physically attracted to you. You know, like, because then we tiptoeing into like, and what's her name, Anna Nicole Land, where she just married for money. So it's at this point, yes, I'm marrying you because you treat me well, but do I like you? You know, like, are you even? Do I want to take family pictures with you? Am I ashamed? You know, and that ashamed. Does that ashamed feeling follow me when I walk into a room full of Black men? You know, so
yeah.
That's so I don't know if that comes with healing or if that's just me saying no, but I just know there's a lot. Like, dude, I can't imagine walking into like the YMCA with my white boyfriend and I'm seeing all these Black dudes balling. I'm like, I don't know this dude. What y'all talking about? Like, I don't know this man.
I don't know.
I would do that.
I get it. I don't know if that means you need to be healed. I just feel you on that. Like that's what people have to go through when they be in interracial relationships. You know, I've seen people in interracial relationships where they be in Black spaces and they like turned up their Blackness, you know, just to let everybody know, hey,
yeah,
I'm Black, still Black, exactly. You know. So no, I feel you on that.
I know me, and I could be. I'm gonna pick with you, right? You're a white man. I'm gonna see how mad I can make you. Are you gonna call me the N-word? I want you to. Like and that's probably hella toxic, but it's just in the back of my mind. I'm like, I know what you thinking right now. Like, I'm gonna test your gangster. Instead of even putting myself in that situation, I probably wouldn't marry a man. I'm not gonna lie. That's not to say I wouldn't date out. Okay, hold on. That is to say. So I would date outside my race. It just probably wouldn't be a white man.
Gotcha.
To answer the question. Okay, so I guess this is my 5th question, right? It is, it's on my phone. Oh, who is your dream interview with? Like, if we could get anybody on Black Around the World, who would it be? Obviously, I told you Issa Rae is mine, but.
I don't know if I can kind of wiggle out of a specific person. Can I tell you, like, who my dream interviewees are? Okay. So like I really just want like to get over time some like Black people who are around the world, obviously, but like people who are just operating in spaces that do bring that heal, operating in spaces that bring alternatives to systems that are oppressive, that are like working to do that, but I do want to hear from different cultures and like learn communal pieces, learn communal like cultural pieces from different people around the world that could be beneficial to the rest of the world if we just like gave it a platform so we can all hear and learn. I really like mental health is really important to me. So that will come up a lot in our episodes. And so one of my dreams is to keep having communal conversations around mental health with people. And so, like for example, there is someone here in Ghana. Her name is Ruth, and she's with Hopeful in Coma, and she has recently had a community therapy session. And so I really want to hear how she's doing that and learn from that. right now, I actually told her, I was like, that podcast, really want you to be on it. So I'm gonna just say right now, Ruth is not being podcast.
Perfect. Hey, we could do it. We're making that happen for sure.
Yes, yes.
So,
That's my
yeah.
last question.
Okay.
Is it my
Yes.
question? Okay. So my last question is, what would you tell your childhood self?
What would I tell my childhood self?
Is it childhood self? Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
go ahead.
I say no to drugs. No, I did tell my childhood self that I didn't listen, but maybe more so along the lines of it's really about it's not about how talented you are, queen. It's really about being consistent. And so I thought because I'm super creative, I'll go from one idea to the next because I know I can do it. But I get discouraged because it's not happening overnight for me. And what I'm realizing as an adult, it's really about consistency. It's what you put into it is what you get out of it. And just because I'm good at X, it's not going to do anything for me if I'm not putting the time it is needed to market it, to hone in my craft. It's that 1,000 hours concept. So I would just tell myself, like, yes, you're creative. And yes, you can pick up things fast, but nothing is going to work if you don't stay consistent.
Consistency is key. I
Yes.
love that. I love
Key.
that.
Lock
Stay with
in.
it. Stay consistent. That's beautiful. I think that wraps up our questions, right?
Yeah, I think that was great. I think obviously we learned a lot about each other.
Did we did learn, and then I think we have a lot to continue learning. It'll definitely still be like people will. This is almost an experience. People will be an experiment. I mean, people will be seeing us kind of work through and build community in real time, and learning about each other and learning our differences and learning our different perspectives and discussing and diving into it and challenging. I know we talked about a disclaimer, which we'll put in the show notes. Did you want to discuss some aspects of the disclaimer?
Essentially, I know I don't know everything. So I don't ever want people to think that I wanted to be on a platform to tell people what to do or to act like I'm the guru of, such, because obviously had I had the answers, I would have already implemented everything by now. I start with what I can within my little circle, but as far as disclaimers, like I'm not biased. Okay, like I said, I probably could be biased in certain situations, but overall, I really just want to come from a space of love and I'm not trying to offend anybody when I give my opinions. I could be super opinionated, but that does not mean that I want to hurt anybody in the process. Like, sorry to any white man I might have offended with my comment earlier, but it's the truth, you know. It's my
No,
truth.
I've never apologized to white people, but go ahead.
No, well, at the end of the day, I just want people to know that I ELE, everybody love everybody, but at this point, I'm not in the space where I really
But
want to
like,
offend people, but I do have a truth to be told.
right. But I'm saying though, like the white man that would like we would be with would understand why you feel that way and what has
That
made you
part, you
feel that.
right. Hey, where
So,
you at
like,
though?
what
Where you
what
at though? I don't even know they exist.
you know what I'm saying? I think they do. I think they do. I've met a
They're
couple of people.
all they all easily they're fragile souls. So I'm trying to figure out where that one is because for the most part they all get offended by it.
White
This
fragility is real. It is real.
yes.
Um. Oh, so you finish your disclaimer?
Oh yeah, that was essentially it. I just don't want to hurt people's feelings, but I also do have a truth to be told, and I am a full-blown Sagittarius with a Leo moon. So I am going to be blunt about it, but just know it's coming from a space of love. That's my
Yes.
disclaimer.
I think that to add to that, like us not knowing everything, I think that the disclaimer is that we are open to being challenged and open to. So if we are saying something and you want to chime in by writing us What's our email?
blackaroundtheworld.podcast@gmail.com.
Right. blackaroundtheworld.podcast@gmail.com. Or through our Instagram, blackaroundtheworld_. So if you just want to like say, hey, here's my thoughts on that. Like we'll come back if there's something, if you like want to correct us on anything, we're open to correction, we're open to different
Be respectful about it though.
Yeah,
be
respectful about
don't check me. Do not.
We're open to entertaining all the nuances in what we're discussing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Anything else that we need to cover for the people?
No, I think we touched on a lot. I mean, essentially, it was really about us sharing why we started the podcast and what we wanted out of it, making sure that we had an activity to learn more about each other. But if you want to also kind of expound more on how people can reach out to you, if they do want to dive more into the yogi life and just what it is you're doing in Ghana.
Yes. So you can follow me, ama.ray, at ama.ray. That is my Instagram, which I just deleted off my phone because Instagram had a stronghold today. Sometimes you just got to delete that app. It's still there though. I'm upload it. But ama.ray is my Instagram. And then if you want to, just hit me up on Instagram. I'm Raynell Lynn on Facebook as well.
Awesome. Well, you can follow if you're into art, like you should be because everything is art. But if you're into specifically visual art, Black art, you can follow the gallery on Instagram at Greenwood Gallery Tulsa, because that's where we were birthed from, in Tulsa. And then my personal is Queenwood_AVE. I'm gonna try to add some subtitles in here so people can understand what it is I'm saying, but Queenwood_AVE. And yeah, I'm on every platform. So if you try hard enough, you'll find me. But all my names are different, so good luck.
Yeah. So I mean, I like that you said why, like what you would get from if you wanted to connect with me, and why you want to follow me is if you're into, like Queen said, yoga. For me, like yoga has been a way of building community, a way of healing, a way of self-discovery, a way of creating liberation spaces. And so if you're into all that, liberatory consciousness, freedom, love, self-discovery, healing, those are the things that you can expect. Fun, joy, unlearning, relearning, those are the things you can expect from my social media.
Yeah, we both have some fun and exciting stuff and content. So I think kind of being able to see the best of both worlds of what we have going on would be dope. So yeah, follow us both and the podcast. So just follow everything that we're doing.
Yeah.
You can stay connected. Oh, but I think it would be awesome if we just upload this on YouTube. So that's a conversation we'll have after recording. But
yes, this is going on YouTube, but look for Black Around the World podcast on Spotify.
yes.
Right. And what other I have Spotify. I don't know what people use to listen to their.
I have Spotify. I also have an album on Spotify, but we're gonna plug that in a different episode.
Okay, album plug.
But yeah, Spotify. It'll be on the platform. So just hang with us if you're Black around the world. Tune in. We're gonna have great content, great conversations, and just we're building community through conversation, essentially.
Yeah, and we'll be Black.
We'll be Black. Peace. Take care. All right.
When you press stop recording, it should like download.
Oh, there it goes.
Press the down.